Hi, I'm Jason, and I want to help you get in medical school so that you can become a doctor. And you're probably wondering, who's Jason? Well, by the time you read this, it's probably not going to be Jason. It's going to be Dr. Spears. That's right. I just graduated from medical school, and I'm a physician now. And what I want to do is, I want to make sure that one day you're in my steps, and I want to leave a path that you can follow that will get you where you want to be. And that's medical school, but ultimately a doctor. And you're probably wondering, what can I do for you? Why should you even listen to me? And I'm going to just tell you a little about my background. I went to Northwestern University in Evanston, Illinois, and there I served my last 2 years as the president of the Pre-Med Society. And so what that meant was I was always in contact with physicians and medical schools, basically the gatekeepers who decide who becomes a doctor and who doesn't. And so now I'm on a first name basis with AdComs from the top medical schools throughout the country because of my time as a president of the Pre-Med Society. One of the things that we would do was we would organize a medical school fair, which is basically your college fair where we would bring in all the medical schools to campus. And so throughout that process, doing that for over 2 years, you really get to know people and they get to know you. And I got to ask them a lot of questions about what does it really take to get into medical school. You hear all these rumors, you hear all of this, how competitive it is, and yes, it's extremely competitive, but obviously there's somebody who's getting in, and I want that to be you. And so I finally found what I would say to some would think would be the secret, but there's actually a formula, an insight that if you follow it, you'll get into medical school. And what I want to say about that is that it's not impossible to get into medical school. And you have to ask yourself, why do some people get in and why do others not get in? You have people with the same GPAs and MCAT scores, but there's other things that separate people apart from getting into medical school. And one of the biggest things that I want to dispel for you, if you don't get anything from this video, I want you to know this. A sample size of 1 does not make for good science. And why I say that is you'll have people who are medical students or recently graduated from medical school, so they're physicians, and they'll say, I can help you get into medical school. I successfully did it. Yes, they got into medical school, they graduated, they're a physician, but half the time, they don't even know why they got into medical school. They might have had luck, just things worked out in their favor, and you don't want that type of person advising you through this process of getting into medical school. It's a high stakes process where your future, your livelihood is at stake, and you don't want to do that. And so when I advise and I work with students, I'm not telling you, oh, this is what worked for Dr. Spears, so now it's going to work for you. No. Remember how I said I was the president of the Pre-Med Society? And so that meant when I give advice and information, it's not just from what worked for me or what Northwestern was telling pre-med students. It's what all the top medical schools are telling applicants, what they're looking for, what's important to them. And so you're basically getting access to a pre-med dream team that you can't find anywhere else. And when you have that on your side, that's going to help you zoom to the top of the pile, because I can take one look at your application and say, nope, that's not going to work, or yes, you need to definitely key in on that and work with that. And so that's what I want to do for you. And you're probably wondering a little bit more about myself. So not only as a Dr. Spears did I go to Northwestern University for my undergrad, I was actually a political science major, and obviously you need to take the science courses to get into medical school, and I completed my pre-med coursework at Harvard University Summer School. So I spent time at Harvard's campus, one of the top colleges in the country, maybe even in the world. And so I was exposed to the pre-med environment over there, their faculty, their advisors to give. So again, it's not going to be one-dimensional advice that you get when you work for me. I was exposed to all of these areas, and then I also have a master's degree from Boston University School of Medicine. And again, that's even another area of expertise. I know the people who are actually grading the medical students. I know what they're looking for. And these are the same people that sit on admissions committees at medical schools as well. And so when you have all of this information, this background, this experience, you're not going to be able to find that anywhere else. And so when you're thinking about who you should work with, who you should reach out for advice, these are some of the things that you want to consider. A lot of times you'll go online, you'll see somebody, you'll see their credentials, and sometimes you'll find out, you know what, they're a literature major, they're an English major, and they're calling themselves a pre-health, pre-med advisor. Is that somebody you want to work with? Somebody who hasn't even personally gone through the process and has already achieved what you're trying to do? That's not what I would do. I definitely would not. That's like using a proxy, a stand-in. There's a difference between having something that you read and actually being able to perform it and do it. Just think about that. If you needed surgery, would you go with the person who's like, oh, I read all the books on how to do this operation, but I've never done it myself, but I think I can get you through to that through the surgery? No, you're going to pick the surgeon who's read the books, who's done multiple surgeries, and has a clear track record of success. That's who you're going to pick. That's who you want to work with. That's who you want to be your surgeon. And the same thing applies when you're looking for a pre-med coach, somebody who's going to help you, somebody who's going to get you to the next level, somebody who's going to help you achieve your goals, your dreams, and your aspirations to become that doctor, to have your white coat, to have that stethoscope, to put those letters behind your name. That's what I want to do for you, because I know you can make it, and sometimes the journey seems tough, it seems rough, you're very confused about what's out there, you already know it's extremely competitive, and so let me guide you each and every step of the way. And again, Dr. Spears, I'm not so far removed from the process that I'm not even familiar with what it takes to get into medical school, because I'm recently graduated, going through the process of applying to residency, so I know all the concerns that you have. Mine's just on a little bit different level because it's residency and not medical school, but still same thing, writing personal statements, going on interviews, putting your best foot forward, and just knowing what people want out of you when you're trying to reach that next level in your career or your education. So I'm more than willing to help you out with that. If you want to learn more about me, learn more about my services, or just things in general about being pre-med, getting into medical school, becoming a doctor, I have a website called drpremed.com, and I actually started that when I was finishing up undergrad, because a lot of my classmates and friends, they would always ask me about getting into medical school. What should I do? What shouldn't I do? What's the best angle? What's the best approach to have? And I just realized I'm getting a lot of the same questions over and over. And so wouldn't it be a lot more efficient to make a website to put that information out there so that it can be accessed 24/7, anytime, anywhere, to help out more people? Because obviously there's only one in me. I can't help out everybody in the world, but with the website and the internet, drpremed.com, you can really get the help you need and start moving forward on that goal, on that path of getting into medical school, position yourself to make that a reality, and not just thinking, okay, what are my chances? Let's take a strategic approach and go step by step. And I'm going to basically put your pre-med years on autopilot, so you don't have to think about what's coming next. You're going to avoid all the common pitfalls and mistakes that a lot of your peers and classmates are going to make, because you decide that, you know what, there's this doctor, Dr. Spears, who knows what he's doing, has a solid track record, has been doing this for years, and he's not giving me information that he thinks worked because it worked for him. No, he has basically the pre-med dream team behind him that's backed by the top colleges and universities in the country. That these are the gatekeepers. They're the ones who decide who gets in and who doesn't, and that's the type of expertise, experience that you want when you're applying to medical school, when you're pre-med, when you're not sure what to do, what should come next, or how to position yourself. And what I like to say also with students who work with me and what I do for you is I say our goal is to turn any negatives in your application into positives. It's all about positioning, it's all about spinning things and giving AdComs exactly what they want while you retain your voice, and ultimately you're going to zoom to the top and you're going to be walking across that stage to loud applause as a dean puts a white coat on your shoulder and welcomes you to the career, the field of medicine, because you're on your way to becoming a doctor, and I want to be a part of that for you because your success is my success, and I want you right there with me. Thank you. Dr. Spears with drpremed.com.